You're watching ESPNcricinfo Match Day, and Delhi Capitals are finally beginning to realize what it feels like to be playing at home. They're finally beginning to realize what other teams did right at the start of the tournament, that is to read the conditions at home well, and that has resulted in their 6th win of the season, only second at home, chasing that total down. 163 for 7 is what Punjab got, thanks to Chris Gayle with almost 200 strike rate, 69 of 37 balls, and then Shreyas Iyer playing a captain's dog, 58 not out, staying till the end, 166 for 5 in 19.4 overs. It was a close finish in the end. With me, as always, Sean Tate, Dasgupta. We'll look at the main talking points, and let's start with the dew factor. And we were talking about right at the start that maybe Delhi made a mistake looking at the game before, but looks like they're at the conditions rather well. Dew was a major factor.
Yeah, and at the toss as well, both the teams did mention about how big the dew factor could be, and obviously it was. I mean, the spinners struggled, especially the youngster. Harpreet, Murugan Ashwin, both of them kind of struggled, gripping the ball. So yeah, it played a major role in this.
That begs a question. If you knew the conditions, could then Kings 11, instead of going with 3 spinners, had just 2 spinners and an extra seamer?
Yeah, I mean, the other side of that is that the way the wicket was last game. So if you look at the way the wicket was and could be in Delhi, you go, okay, it's going to turn a bit, it's going to be a bit slow. So we'll go in with our spinners, but you don't know if you're going to lose the toss or not as well.
Yeah. But the wicket wasn't that. So we keep talking about that the wicket can't change in 3 days, but it did change. It's not the wicket that we saw the last game.
I don't think so. I don't think so. If you look at the first innings, where obviously there wasn't too much of dew, the ball did turn. It's a different issue that someone like Chris Gayle really played well, took the spinners on, where and the spinners, he chose the leg spinners. He took Sandeep Lamichhane on, he took Amit Mishra on. I thought it was a good innings from Shreyas Iyer in the end. But obviously, I mean, listen, and we mentioned about this, the dew factor would negate the pitch anyways.
You reckon that? Because last time it felt like it was unplayable when the Delhi middle order came out.
The only thing I'll say is it looked like it was, if it makes sense, glued together a bit better. As in, it stuck. It wasn't as crumbly. It wasn't quite as.
Exactly.
You didn't see the pieces coming out of it like it was. And saying that, the first innings was still tough going, but it takes on wickets like these, or it's in the last game anyway. It takes application, or it takes probably a knock like a Chris Gayle, a mature player, an experienced player, but that makes Shreyas's innings quite good because he probably needed a mature innings to see his side over the line.
And also Shikhar, we spoke about the importance of Shikhar top of the order and keeping it together. I thought both these innings were very, very crucial. And can you imagine Shikhar getting out early and then Delhi going through what happened in the last game against Punjab and almost this game as well?
Okay, just judging by what you said about the pitch, if it was that tough and resembled what it was in the previous game, 163 for 7 for Kings 11 should have been a winning total. Ashwin is of the opinion they were 20 runs short. What do you reckon?
I wouldn't say 20, but we did talk about during the mid innings that they should have been 170, 175.
Okay.
The way they were after 12 overs, they were 100 for 3, I believe, something like that. And you would expect getting 70 odd runs in the last 8-9 overs, and with Gayle still being around. So obviously they should have got another 10 odd runs. They should have been on 175, not 163.
Then you definitely would have had a game on your hands. But talking about our next talking point, and it says DC avoid batting collapse. But the trouble is they almost did have a batting collapse. They tried their best to lose that match.
They had a mini one.
They've
in the past they've had a couple, or certainly one of note that happened like that. But look, at the end of the day, we spoke about having players in, we spoke about hitters they've got at the death, and they had Shreyas stay in, which is just so important. It's so simple in T20 cricket. If you've got a batsman in the death overs, you're every chance of getting a good score or chasing down a good score.
There are a few problem areas there. I mean, yes, they've gone across the line right now, won this game. A few shots there. Pant played that shot at the time. Probably you didn't need one. You had Colin Ingram also trying to be aggressive to a Yorker. We had the captain, Shreyas Iyer, right towards the end playing a lofted shot. So there is a problem that they need to address.
Listen, that obviously lack of experience to a certain extent.
But it's happening again and again with Delhi.
True, I understand. I mean, listen, I do understand that, and they don't have a proper finisher, so to say. If you look at most of the teams, they would have a senior, a number 6 player or number 7 player, a senior guy who's been around. They don't have anyone like that. Today, they played Rutherford before Chris Morris, I don't know for whatever reason. But Rutherford, again, is a youngster who has not gone through. Listen, sorry, the thing about number 6 is you pick up batsmen based on runs, right? In domestic cricket as well. You pick them up for the national team based on runs, and the guys who bat in the top order get most of the runs. So you're actually picking a top order guy to bat at number 6. Very rarely you'll find a number 6 domestic player playing number 6 international also. So if you even look at the IPL as well, apart from the all-rounders, your number 6 batsmen are predominantly top order batsmen.
Interesting, okay.
So with experience, you learn. For now, example, leave MS Dhoni aside, the next finisher that you're thinking of is a top order batsman. A Kedar Jadhav is a top order batsman in first class cricket.
Okay.
So you learn finishing games with experience when you bat at number 6 over a period of time.
Okay, that takes me to our next set of graphics that we've got, and we're looking at how the partnership really panned out. We're talking about the 2 stars for Delhi Capitals. Those were Shikhar Dhawan and Shreyas Iyer. They really put together the runs that were needed for them to go across the line. 92 runs in that 10 overs. We'll talk about Shikhar. Interesting, Sean, because of the conditions on offer, there was certainly a plan there that power play, that's where they were 10 plus, and as soon as the power play was over, they ensured that they just farmed the striker out.
Well, I think that's a great way to go about T20 cricket. Again, it's sounding so simple, but at the top of the order, it's probably the best of the conditions you're probably going to have. Ball coming on, fielders up. I think that's what Punter was saying about Shikhar being more aggressive. It doesn't mean go out and start slogging and playing shots. It's just at the top of the order when you've got a chance to get big scores and the field's up and then the conditions are right, get after it. He's a good enough player, and I think the way he's batting now, it looks a lot better.
Okay, I'm just going to take that point that Deep made and ask you that question. That number 5, number 6, where they need an experienced guy. Could Shreyas be that batsman at 5 and 6, push Pant up, because if you're going to get the maximum amount of runs in the top 6, the power play, get Pant up at number 3. Is that a solution that should?
I still think that Shreyas is best there, and innings like tonight, I suppose, prove that. Punt, you know what he's going to do. Okay, I'm starting to see now with some of the guys here talking about not being able to rely on him at times and playing rash shots. Okay, I'm starting to see what people are saying, and it's. At crucial times, you sort of want him to be around, but that's his game. And it seems to me like Ponting is wanting his players to play freely. Now that can go both ways at times, but in general, I still think overall, I don't think we would have thought at this point in the tournament Delhi would be where they are. And it seems to me like they've improved as a team at no end.
Okay, just because he talks about that Pant, and his approach, interesting. Could Glenn Maxwell be the guy that you could look at? Because he was in that similar mold, wanting to play aggressive. He's changed. Suddenly we've seen that more mature Glenn Maxwell. If that's the way Punter dealt with him, I believe he's part of that think tank in Australia. Could something like that be done with...
Obviously, it can be done. There's no two ways, and he learned. My only thinking right now is whether he is in the right frame of mind or not. I mean, he was one guy who was expecting, I'm sure, he's a young guy, he was expecting to be part of the World Cup squad. He's not part of it now. It will take him some time, and he's a 20-year-old.
It's not getting picked for that World Cup squad could be the best thing. It
could be,
because he's a cocky lad. Nothing wrong with that, but and sometimes you need to be brought back down to earth a little bit at times, and not get too far ahead of where you are.
Because he's seen a lot of success in the last 6-8 months. Getting hundreds in Test match cricket, being talked about as the next guy after MS Dhoni. The future of Indian cricket, blah, blah, blah. But my point is, hopefully, he understands it. Obviously, he'll take his time. He's a young kid. He'll take his time to understand the whole thing. It'll take some time to sink into him, but I hope he comes out of it as a better person. As you mentioned, this whole experience will only make him a better cricketer.
Cocky guy, interesting. He's carrying forward the legacy of Delhi batsmen, but it does seem to work well for them. We've seen Delhi batsmen do that and become really, really successful. Okay, turning our attention to the 2 spin twins for Delhi Capitals in Lamichhane and Axar Patel. Sean, I talked with Lamichhane. Didn't have a great start. We were talking about bowl him to Chris Gayle first up. That didn't quite work for him, but what a comeback for a man who was hammered for what? About first 2 overs, 23 runs to come back and then pick up 4 wickets?
That little with KL, that little little contest they had. He tried the wrong a couple of times, didn't work. KL read it, took him on, and then he bowled a great leg break, and it was just Deep was in the back room going, just bowl a leggy, just bowl a leggy.
So it's surprising.
You sort of go, that is a ball that clearly you should bowl, but I think he almost set him up a little bit in some ways.
And that contest with Gale, in that mid-innings between the changeover, he was asked about that contest with Gale. And he said, listen, I was trying a certain things, but it was his day. He was going after me. But I kept at it. I mean, speaks a lot for this still inexperienced bowler.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, listen, like I said, it's the temperament. You will get hit. In this format, as a bowler, you will get hit. As a batsman, you will not score in every game. But it's the temperament which is important. Are you ready for that competition or not? And talking about someone like Sandeep Lamichhane, who's from Nepal, does not play too much of cricket, and you're up against one of the greatest, at least the greatest T20 cricketer right now. So, I mean, it's a huge challenge. I mean, it's good to see that youngster is ready to take that challenge up.
And you got to give him credit. He also spoke about dew in the mid-inning. So there was dew in the first inning itself. Couldn't have been easy for a wrist spinner.
No, obviously they were saying it was as wet as it was in the first innings as well. Probably not as bad, but yeah, I mean, he looks like a no-fuss guy. He gets on with the job. He seems pretty honest about what he's doing, and he said that, Chris, sometimes it's someone's day. There's not a lot you can do.
Talking about comebacks, Lamichhane had a comeback in this match, but I'm going to talk about a comeback for Axar Patel. Didn't start off really well with the ball or the bat in this IPL, the first two games I can remember. Since then, he's been doing rather well with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Axar is one guy who always goes under the radar. He's a very consistent performer. He's not one guy who'll pick 4 wickets in a game or score 40 of 20, but he's thereabouts every game. He might just have one off day or something, but again, and on a surface like this especially, you would expect Axar, because he's very Jadeja kind of a bowler. Not a big turner, but on a helpful surface, he will turn, and he'll turn and he's quick in the air. He bowls at 90 k's an hour almost, and at that pace, if the ball starts turning, there's not much a batsman can do about it.
Okay, he's spinning the ball rather well, and that's paying dividends. Only thing he needs to learn is spin around the bowler as well on the crease, which he didn't manage to do today. That is what got run out. He was rather upset after that. Our final point of discussion is Ishant Sharma, and him stepping into Chris Morris's shoes. To the fast bowler on our panel, we'll talk about that. You remember we spoke about Chris Morris not being there. What do they do in the death? Today, Ishant Sharma was given that responsibility. Bowled 2 overs. Were you impressed?
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good this tournament. I actually like the way he looks like he's happy. You've seen in the past in some franchises, it just doesn't look like he fit in or he wasn't happy, or at times he was. But I don't know. Again, I think this environment they're creating, Sorav, Ricky, James Hopes is there. It's just the people in general in that staff. I don't know, but it looks to me like they've got a good environment going on. They're backing their players in, young captain, young batting lineup, and guys like Ishant are not a new lease on life, but it just looks to me like he's enjoying himself. It'd be interesting to know if he is, if he's asked that question, because I think he's flourishing a little bit in that.
Well, we were talking about Pant missing out on that World Cup bus. He was being spoken of, not Ishant Sharma. He wasn't part of the thing, but he must remember the time that he was part of that white ball team of the Indian cricket, then out of favour. Maybe that vengeance is working for him as well?
More than vengeance, I think it's also realizing what he's good at. If you look at his lengths, he's bowling test match lengths, and in the last 12-15 months, he's been brilliant in test match cricket. So if you look at the lengths that he's bowling, forget the death bowling, but generally in the top 3-4 overs, 3 overs that he bowls, first 3, he's bowling the test match length, which obviously he's getting the ball to move, jack back in, which is his stock ball. So I mean, he's backing himself and what he's got. And obviously, I mean, suddenly now he must be looking at it. Listen, you know what? There is no like fourth seamer, so to say, as of now. You have Bumrah, Bhuvi, and Shami, but who's the fourth seamer?
There's Khalil, Saini.
Yeah, there are quite a few of them, but nobody, no
definitely
particular person as your fourth or fifth option. So I mean, why not him in the mix as well? Because he's bowling well, he's fit, he's running in hard. He's always been a very, very fit guy, very hard-working. So why not just give it a try?
I'm talking about Ishant Sharma now from the perspective of the Kings 11 team. Now, Delhi today were a bowler short, just played with 5 bowlers. I'm looking at the figures. The 6th bowler that they kind of used was Rutherford, bowls 1 over, just goes for 5 runs. Now, this is where they fell short. Do you think this is where they should have capitalized? Knowing Delhi are playing with 5 bowlers, Amit Mishra didn't have a great time. Then you get a part-timer and Rutherford gets away with 5 runs.
I just think that they probably use their bowls fairly smartly. And the other thing is, Axar, he bowled 3 overs. He didn't bowl his 4, and he was, I think, he was bowled 3 overs, and he had good figures. So, yeah, they thought about it, I think, and they did a good job with it. And at the end of the day, your bowlers, you can do whatever you want. Your bowlers have to back up your decisions, and I think they bowled pretty well today, Billy.
Also, probably it was only Chris Gayle that got going for Kings 11, no one else. So really couldn't attack the fifth weak link bowler that Delhi Capitals had today. Okay, we'll now take a look at the points table. Let's see what that has done after Delhi Capitals win. They've remained in the third spot, but now have 12 points, tied with Mumbai and same number of games they've played, but gone 2 points ahead of Kings 11 Punjab. It's the run rate that's separating Mumbai and Delhi at the moment. I'll get both of you to react on this. Do you think now we definitely know the top three? I know the fourth fight is going to be there because 14 or 16 points usually gets you through. You can't see Mumbai or Delhi out of the 4 games that they've got losing 3.
Oh, I mean, right now you've got to say that
Chennai, Mumbai,
they should
Delhi.
make the 4. But look, it gets pretty close at the back end those last few games.
Punjab, Hyderabad, Kolkata is the fight.
I
But
think
Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment you'd say the Hyderabad are a better chance than Kolkata. That's I'm going on now, but it just changes so quick in this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fact that Delhi won at home is big for them. If they win the next one, they're sweet. So the next game becomes so important for them.
Yeah, because 14 sometimes takes you through as well.
Yeah, but then the
16 is very
net
safe.
run rate. Yeah, 16 is safe. It's
Yeah.
8 wins is what you're looking at. But I think after tomorrow's game, you'll get a better picture with Kolkata. If they lose another one, fifth back-to-back game, chances are very bleak for them because, I mean, momentum plays a huge role. Hyderabad is the other team who can make it. But yeah, for all you know, I mean, it's so tight right now. You lose a couple of games and suddenly you're under pressure to qualify, win another game. Things can change really fast. Yeah.
As things stand right now, to be very, very safe for both Mumbai and Delhi, they've got 4 games remaining. If you win 2, you could say safely that they're through into the last 4. Chennai only need to win 1 to be very, very safe. MS Dhoni might just come back very soon to ensure that happens. Okay, let's take a look at how the Fab 4 has gone, the little fantasy league that we've got going between Sean Tate and Deep Dasgupta. Sean's Fab 4 have given him 127 points. That almost is about 90 more than he got in that first game.
It's still pretty well.
Yeah, Murugan Ashwin let you down, and so did Mayank Agarwal. But Rabada and Lamichane, that is an inspiring pick. Okay, 127 for Sean Tate. Let's take a look at how Deep has done. 145. Narrowly, it's Shikhar Dhawan that's given you the most points. And decent points there from Rishabh Pant. And
I thought you picked Shreyas, didn't you?
I don't know, mate. I really don't know what I'm doing with this.
I don't blame you. It's the second game of the day, and this is probably your 20th game in a row. So I can't really, blame you for not remembering the
Tomorrow's the
players.
day.
Tomorrow's the
Come.
day. But again,
You left Karthik with you.
you won the quiz. So you allowed him to
that's
win at
right.
least the 2 Fab 4. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for being part of this discussion, for giving us company on ESPNcricinfo Matchday. We'll see you again tomorrow.